Hey everybody. First, I'd like to just say thanks for giving us the opportunity to show how Sqwiggle could potentially transform your organization and the way that it communicates despite long distance and time zones. My name is Matt Boyd and I'm one of the co-founders. Um, so who uses Sqwiggle? Squiggle's been adopted by both large and small teams alike from 5 to 500 across the globe. Sqwiggle is more relevant for anybody seeking to decrease the friction of daily communication in their workflow. What Sqwiggle isn't? Sqwiggle isn't Google Hangout, Skype, or GoToMeeting. Those products are designed to be a virtual conference room. Sqwiggle is designed to be the central office where you can see and communicate with your teammates all day long. Some of Sqwiggle's features, with Sqwiggle you'll also know if the person is actually sitting at their desk, because just like a normal office, you can see their face through a series of automatically updating pictures. When I click someone, the system will automatically connect based on your privacy. So no waiting whenever you'd like to talk to somebody, just like tapping somebody on the shoulder. Here's a short video, and I don't know how to make this play. There we go. This is a short video of how Sqwiggle Instant Calls work. If you'll notice how fast it connected, we actually track the length of Sqwiggle calls, and 95% of them are under 2 minutes. So people using Sqwiggle are using Sqwiggle to video chat very quickly with no pre-planned scheduling hassles. You can also have multiple conversations, up to 10 people happening at one time. We color code them so everybody in red is talking, and the same with blue and green, etc. Whenever you want to talk with the red group, just click anybody in that group and you'll be instantly connected in high quality video. With Sqwiggle, hundreds of people can be in multiple conversations at once, just like a real large office building. We realize that instant conversations come with privacy concerns, so we've actually addressed that. Similar to your personal door in an office, we've added busy mode. If you're working hard and you don't want to be disturbed, just enable busy mode, and from then on, Sqwiggle will not automatically connect you to the person on the other end. Building culture in any organization and creating personal connections on your team is very important. Sqwiggle's core strength is bringing groups of people together regardless of distance. One of the ways we do that is the concept of the group selfie. People in 10 different time zones can take a selfie together through Sqwiggle, which is a very powerful and fun way to create an exciting environment. To give your team more context on exactly what you're up to, we've enabled custom status messages. Anytime during your workday, you can add a fun message to your picture. It's like a passive conversation that tells your team what you're up to without the need to have a video call about that specific thing. It's just another way to stay in contact with your team throughout the day. And as I mentioned before, Sqwiggle shows a color image of you, Sqwiggle shows a color image of you to your team during the workday, but if you're not actually sitting at your desk, when Sqwiggle detects that you're currently not available, it'll automatically change your image from color to black and white, just to give another visual indication that you're currently away from your desk. Just think of it like sitting at an empty chair in a real-world office. Sqwiggle also has team chat broken down into category. The engineers, designers, salespeople all have their own fully featured chat room to discuss the topics of the day. It's just one more way that Sqwiggle is removing the friction of day-to-day communication within your team or a large organization. In the chat, you have the ability to drag files right in and share things on the go. It's a simple feature, but works very well to collaborate quickly and efficiently on anything you might be working on. Just take any file, drop it in, and see the magic. One interesting thing about Sqwiggle is it's designed to fit both large and small teams. We've seen up to 500 globally distributed people in one single Sqwiggle workroom, which isn't even close to the limit. We've built the experience to manage and control the chaos in one seamless experience. Building culture in global teams is very, very important, and sometimes it's missed and glossed over. As I mentioned before, Sqwiggle is designed to help build culture within any organization. When we released the selfie feature, people started sharing pictures of their team and the fun they were having, and we collect those images on a blog called Only on Sqwiggle, and if you Google that, you can find it. So why did we build this? We built Sqwiggle because we needed a solution and knew others would need it as well. Our assumption proved to be true, and to date, almost 19,000 companies have used Sqwiggle, and we come to work every day excited to help people communicate and build global teams in a more cohesive way. So just a few quotes. We are overall very happy with the service. It has changed our working lives seriously. I forgot to say that I love Sqwiggle and it makes our remote team feel much closer. Thanks for reaching out. We definitely can't live without Sqwiggle anymore, so well done. So what are the challenges we see of adopting Sqwiggle? The number one thing that we see is the perception of what video conferencing is and not what it can be. It just takes a few minutes with Sqwiggle to see the benefits, and it's certainly worth the small amounts of effort to build your own group of advocates internally. Once your team truly gets it, the results are amazing. Sqwiggle exists to create real in-office team interactions without the need for chairs, desks, and walls. The office water cooler, the daily interactions with your team, and noticing that John has a new haircut are all things that happen within an office, and it should be the same for globally distributed teams. This is communication for today in a challenged world that needs to stay connected. The overall purpose of Sqwiggle is to completely shatter the barriers of video conferencing as it's known today. Nobody wants to sync their calendars and send endless invite emails. You simply want to talk, and you want to talk now. That ability should absolutely exist, and Sqwiggle lets you do just that. Thanks so much for letting me share with you, and feel free to email us if you have any questions and let us know. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, Matt. I have, before we go on to Michael's, I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
We're still seeing your your Sqwiggle logo, but I'm assuming you're still there. You spoke about, so certainly you have some, you're in the team, you always have some early adopters, people who are sort of eager to adapt and change and try new things, but you also have people who just prefer to do things the way they usually do them. In the IFRC environment, that means using Skype for sort of online conversation and communication, and even sharing files or checking if somebody's around. So a couple of questions. What's your experience to get sort of people resistant to change onto Sqwiggle? How do you approach that problem? And objectively, how would you say that Sqwiggle is better or actually beats Skype or integrates with it, or both?
Yeah, I mean, so I think that everybody in general is rational, and whenever you show somebody rational proof that friction is removed from a specific workflow, and you can actually quantify that time savings, then it's hard to deny, right? If you can say that, okay, you might be using another application right now, but you can actually save a lot of time, it's really, really hard to deny that, and people get it whenever they see that time savings. And so generally we do that with onboarding, and we actually have a boot camp system that we bring people through, and we show them the time savings, we show them the features, and once they really truly understand it, it just clicks. A lot of times it just clicks, and they don't want to use any other program.
Okay, and the comparison with Skype, how is Sqwiggle better or different than Skype?
So, as I mentioned in the presentation, that Skype is almost like a conference room where you have to reserve it, you have to plan in advance, you have to think about getting into a call, and you have to hope that the person is there on the other end. With Sqwiggle, we've actually designed to remove all of that from your workflow. So Sqwiggle takes a picture of you every so often based on your privacy settings, so you know that the person is sitting there just like a real office. And then whenever you want to talk, we don't actually call. There's no calling and accepting. So whenever you talk, you actually just click the person and it instantly connects. So it takes that whole planning process out of the picture. And we actually do monitor the length of video call, and 95% of all video calls that happen on Sqwiggle, which is almost 500,000 at this point, are under 2 minutes in length, which means people are using Sqwiggle to talk in video and say things like, hey, can you get me those documents? Okay, cool, done. And it's just that easy. It's very, very short burst conversations in video, which you can't really
So
do.
one last question is on low bandwidth. Some people in the IFRC teams, when they deploy on mission, are going to be in places where they're going to have only intermittent connections and not necessarily fast ones. Do you have any experience with how Sqwiggle works in these kinds of contexts?
Absolutely. So our audience is not just based in, the U.S. and countries with high bandwidth. So Sqwiggle is designed to be very useful in low bandwidth situations because it's not like you're always on a video call. So it's in the most basic form, it just kind of sends a picture of you to people, and that's very, very simple, very low bandwidth, and you're not in a video call all the time. So it's almost like whenever you want to talk in video, you kind of walk into the door, it connects in video for a little while, and then you're out of video again. So most of the time you're out of video, and it's very, very low bandwidth. So it's designed to run really, really well in those scenarios.